Hi guys, we had begun AC by introducing various waveforms and their RMS and average values. In this video, we shall see what is a capacitor and an inductor and what is their response to an AC network. Next, we shall see what is a phasor and how they simplify AC network analysis. In the end, we shall see series and parallel AC network and how to analyze them using Kirchhoff's node and mesh analysis. If you guys are not distracted by my toddler being naughty during the video, you can see bits of his feet and hands and some paperwork that he was doing. I'm truly sorry. Let's think of a capacitor as consisting of two plates separated by a space. Now, let's connect the capacitor to a voltage source. Due to the space between the plates, current cannot flow between the plates to complete the circuit. But positive and negative charges will be induced on either plates, creating an electric field. The capacitor will store this charge as energy in the form of electric field between the plates. Hence, it's also called an energy storage element. So, how to complete the circuit? Suppose we apply an alternating voltage, AC voltage across the capacitor. With electromagnetic theory, it was shown that whenever there is a change in voltage, there arises a displacement current between the plates that will complete the circuit. Now this displacement current is proportional to the change in voltage, rate of change of voltage, dV by dt, and the constant of proportionality is called capacitance. Capacitance is measured in farad. It can be nanofarad, microfarad, picofarad, etc. Micro is 10 raised to minus 6, nano is 10 raised to minus 9, pico is 10 raised to minus 12. We will need these during calculations. Now, capacitors in series combine like resistors in parallel and vice versa. That is, capacitors in parallel will combine like resistors in series. We can find the energy stored in the electric field of capacitance by finding the power, which is voltage into current, and the energy comes to half CV square, which is in joules. Now, if we apply a DC voltage, it does not change or vary with time. So, there is no current between the plates to complete the circuit. Hence, a capacitor blocks DC, so it can be used to filter out unwanted DC voltage. We can replace capacitors with open circuit for DC circuits. Now let's check out inductor. Inductor is just a wire in the form of coil. They can have a core inside the coil. Suppose we connect the coil to a voltage source. There arises a current through the coil that produces a magnetic field in the coil. This magnetic field can store energy. Hence, an inductor is also called as an energy storage element, just like a capacitor. Suppose we apply an alternating current AC by electromagnetic theory. Any change in current will change the magnetic field that will produce a voltage across the coil known as back EMF. This voltage VB is proportional to the change in current, the supply current AC, dI by dt. Now, the constant of proportionality L is called inductance. L is measured in Henry. Just like capacitance, it can be nanohenry, millihenry, microhenry, picohenry, etc., which we might find in certain problems. Now, the inductors in series combine like resistors in series. And inductors in parallel combine just like resistors in parallel. We can find the energy stored in the magnetic field by finding the power, which is voltage into current. The energy stored is given by half Li square, is in joules. So, if a DC voltage, DC flows through an inductor, it does not vary with time. Hence, no back EMF or voltage is generated. So it provides free flow of current or short circuit to DC. AC applied to an inductor, it is synonymous to inertia. Any change in current, it resists by producing a voltage called back EMF. Since we are dealing with AC networks, let's see what effect AC has on these passive elements L and C. Suppose we apply an AC voltage, a back EMF will be produced and it's given by V equal to L di by dt. V is Vm sin omega t. Take the constants to one side, Vm by L, cross multiply sin omega t dt is equal to di. Integrating on both sides, we find V omega by L, Vm by L, sin omega t will become minus cos omega t by omega. and this will become I. Now taking the constants to one side, Vm by omega L, we can write minus cos omega t as sin omega t minus pi by 2, our basic trigonometric functions. It shows that current I of t lags the voltage V of t by 90 degree. Now I maximum occurs when sin is 1. So Im is Vm by omega L. We know that voltage by current is resistance. There is another type of impedance called reactance. It is analogous to resistance in DC circuits. In this case, we have omega L, which is called reactance. We can call as XL, or inductive reactance is omega L. Omega is 2 pi F. So we find that it is dependent on frequency. This reactance, higher the frequency, higher will be the reactance. To find the power on a purely inductive circuit, the instantaneous power is given by V of t into I of t. I apologize for my toddler being so naughty during this video. It's his hands and his books all over the video. Substitute for V and I. Now to find the power, we have to integrate this instantaneous power from 0 to 2 pi. I am not doing the calculation because it's quite lengthy. For full cycle will become is 0. It is by integrating from 0 to 2 pi. Now, if we have the x-axis as time, then the current will appear pi by 2 time after the voltage has appeared. So this is the voltage waveform. Now, since the current is lagging behind the voltage by pi by 2, the current will start only after pi by 2 time. We can also represent it as, if the voltage is V, then the current I will be lagging by 90 degree line diagram. Suppose we apply an AC voltage through pure capacitance. The applied voltage is Vm sin omega t. We know the current through the capacitance is C dV by dt. Substitute for V as Vm sin omega t. Take out the constant Vm and differentiate sin omega t. Sin omega t will become cos omega t into omega. Taking out all the constants, it will be C omega Vm cos omega t. which can be written as sine omega t plus pi by 2. Imax occurs when sine term is 1. So we get C omega Vm. So we can write voltage equal to Imax into 1 by C omega, and this term is like resistance, and this type of resistance or impedance is called capacitive reactance, Xc is 1 by omega c, or 1 by 2 pi fc. When frequency increases, Xc goes down, reduces. It is dependent on frequency. Now to find the power, first find the instantaneous power. It is voltage into current. Substitute the values. Average power in a purely capacitive circuit is 0, just like the average power in a purely inductive circuit. Integrating from 0 to 2 pi, the instantaneous power, we will get it as 0. Now if we have the x-axis as time, then in this case the current actually leads the voltage by 90 degree. The current will appear before the voltage has started to appear, that is, the current will appear pi by 2 time before the voltage. If we draw the line diagram or phasor diagram, then we have voltage and current I will be leading the voltage by 90 degree.